Hey everybody, how's it going? Here we go with episode 141, Steve.
Bird ones, yeah, and there's been a bunch more as well, so it's our weird numbering thing, but yeah, I'm Steven Schinder, the son of this father-son podcast team. You're Dan, and we have our guest here, Miguel Falcao. How's it going?
Hi, Dan and Steve. Hi, Steve and Dan. Everything all right? Ready for whatever you want from me?
Yeah, well, we do have some fun stuff to talk about indeed, because it is this time of year again. Play for Chris, open call. This is going to be the 10th time, and we'd love to have you talk about what the event is, how it is morphed. But let's start with, how did you come up with this?
As you know, the news about Chris's sickness in 2015, around, and maybe in the month of May, caused a very big concern among Chris's fans, and of course there was an exchange of messages and in forums, and talking about something to send a message to Chris, a get well soon message. That was the really first intention. And a few guys that I can think of, Devin Flato and Stephen Sullivan also, which is the one of the heads of Forgotten Yesterdays, and that I also known from the alt music period many years ago. Somehow this idea of making a collaboration video where everyone could wish Chris Squire to get well arised, and the rest is what you see. I've made kind of a promotion or some announcements in my social media. At the time it was only Facebook, to gather as much of Chris's fans as we could to send him that message. Each person chose to make that message as he wanted. So whether it was by speaking a normal, a spoken message, or playing some of the songs of Chris's catalog, with some text also to complement it. So that was how the project was built. The first issue of Play for Chris, and of course, then we all know that unfortunately Chris passed away in June, sometime later than the Play for Chris video was released. However, I've got the message that Chris's family and Chris himself, they watched the video, and it was something that they appreciated.
That's awesome. It's quite an extraordinary project each year, and we have a couple clips that we'll play. And for those of you not familiar with it, there is some of what you would expect, which is people doing Yes covers or something from one of Chris's solo albums or other projects in a traditional way. But then there's something else like this. I'm going to play a video that, for anyone that hasn't seen a lot of this, it might surprise them. So let's start with this one.
From the trees by the silvery sands to the eyes of the golden midnight lands, from the thread of the tears that are shed with laughter on the other hand, keeping up with the plans and the schemes, chasing dreams hard to tell.
beautiful. Wow. And
Yeah, lucky
you know,
7. Yeah.
yeah, that makes me want to play the next one, because while people will watch that who are unfamiliar with how some of these pieces have gone and are thinking, wow, that's diverse. Wait till you see this next one. There's just so many wonderful performances. I want to play this next one right away. I just need to skip to the right few sets of buttons to get to where it is. Check this out. Wow, that's just amazing. Uh, I'm sure that's surprising a lot of people. Have you considered putting out an official album or video release of some sort?
What do you mean with these songs?
Yeah, with things like the submissions that you get and what you've
You mean like a tribute album or?
yeah.
Well, to release an album, you need a few more songs. Of course, that if we make this kind of things more often, I can gather maybe 1 hour of music, given that the fish is already half an hour, and Lucky 7,
Right.
those are very long. So yeah, kind of interesting format to work on, and it was really something I really loved doing it. We must consider that most of or some of the submissions that I am arranging, video wise and audio wise, they are not very even in terms of quality of recording. So I had to do a lot of effort to take some of the recordings and putting them into a quality level that would be okay to release in this kind of YouTube format.
Right.
I'm not sure that it would be in a very high standard for the today's levels of audio quality. But in any case, there I think also that's not the most important thing here. There's quite a bit of interesting playing by all participants that anyway is worth listening to, even if the production is not like a regular music production. But also that's what makes it kind of interesting, because it's very homemade in various places
Yeah.
with many different types of technological resources.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so many
I
other
think what
instruments too. Yeah,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think what makes this work really well as an online video tribute project is you get to showcase each of the different participants and like have them like side by side in the multiple screens. And like you said, with some of these videos where you'll have like a much longer version of these Chris centric songs, like
Yeah.
it's very limitless. You're not bound by a format, so it can be as long or short as you need it to be. So I really like the way that you've edited these Play for Chris videos over the years.
Yeah, it's kind of was also thank you. It's a really kind of improvised kind of arrangement, because I have so many ingredients. I have to start somewhere, and then I start getting ideas at the same time that I'm making it. So I'm navigating by sight. I don't have the full plan. I don't know how it will end. I'm figuring out the what is the logic according to how I go, how I feel. And
Yeah.
I think all the Play for Chris's projects so far have it's the first thing that I think that has to be there, is the feeling from all the fans. And whether it's a very complicated thing like the editions 6 and 7, which was the ones that you showed, or if it's the simple cover, like the rest of the editions. And this year's edition will be again in the standard simple cover format, or the spoken message format. Everything is possible. What I felt was that the complex arrangements were really satisfying, although I thought that there were some people that wanted to participate and thought it was too complicated for them to be restricted to a song which is in various slices. And the instructions were quite complicated. I
Mm,
would tell them, you have to play this one, or this one, or this part, and here is the guide. So you have like a metronome to play. You have to play, but you cannot. I cannot have the audio with the guide. You have to send me. And some people, uh, for them, it's very easy to do this in the kind of environment like in the studio. And other guys, they want just to play, and they don't have any technical gear to make this separation and play. But they all love Chris, and they all want to participate. So this last few times, I had to be a little bit more democratic, and
yeah.
allow for everyone to participate, which also doesn't mean that I will not go back to that format. In fact, we can do both.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. I want to comment on a comment here from Kevin. For those of you who don't know, he mentions that the first video was a good mix and the next one lacked a little bit. Here's why. The platform we're using only allows videos to be uploaded into the platform of a certain size. The second video is too big, so it's not loaded into the platform. So I'm using a different feature of the platform that plays it from my hard drive, and it just doesn't give you the native audio the way it really
Mhm.
sounds. But like Steve said in the comments, he'll go ahead and post these and probably some other ones separately leading up to the due date for people's submissions to give them some inspiration, give some ideas, and even to give people an idea of what not to do by showing my video from last year. Last
Yeah,
No.
and I might fix this broadcast and post as well with those video clip portions. So
that makes sense. Yeah, last year I submitted for the very
well,
first
two
time.
2 years ago it
Oh,
was
it was
done.
2 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, like we were saying before the show started, time flies.
Yeah. Why didn't I do it this past year? I think travel or business or something.
Yeah.
There must have been-
Yeah. Like we were doing the 10-year thing last year.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Drum
there's a
Talk
lot of
TV
stuff
10-year
going on.
anniversary show. Yeah, yeah. That was all
Yeah.
consuming. So the year before I submitted and it ended up being, if I remember right, well, Steve will remember better than I, how many songs and about 8 seconds of each
Probably
song?
maybe a dozen at least.
I would
And
say
it was
more
like,
than 10 for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it
maybe
was like
50.
12 or 15 of about 5 to 8 seconds each. And after I came up with this great idea, I edited the music together myself that I was going to play to. And then I had to relearn all this music that I know
Yeah.
inside and out, but I didn't know it like this song measures 11 through 22. This song measures 38 through 124. It was like learning a whole new thing all over. And when I started recording it and filming it, I thought, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? But I think I got it on I think the fourth or seventh run through, which considering I didn't rehearse it whatsoever, and I'm always transparent about that, I just said, okay, I'm going to make my video, and I put it on and just did it. It was a lot of fun, and I have something in my mind of what I'm going to do this year. I just looking at my calendar, I got to carve out the time to actually do it. But folks, if you're a musician or a vocalist and you are a fan of Chris's work with Yes or otherwise, we invite you to contribute to this. It's a lot of fun. And a question for you, Miguel. My question is, what can you think of something that stands out that when you got the submission, you just wanted to fall over? It was so unexpected and extraordinarily good and just out of the box.
Well, if it happened to find some of those things in the past,
Mm-hmm.
well, I can think of many extraordinary contributions. You know, the guy who played the soprano saxophone, for example, for Lucky Seven.
Yeah.
You know, he played so well and everything so you know, so I think it was by heart, because you know it's not something that you play by reading you know, by reading music. You have to really feel all the music in your heart. And in the case of a saxophone player, it's even, I think it's even more surprising for me, because I was looking at him playing the part from the saxophone where in the moment that I usually would be listening to Chris playing bass or to Chris singing, and
Right.
you know, but there's this whole beautiful work, which is Mel Collins that is playing the original, and suddenly I was with that playing by you know, a fan of Chris that was really feeling that part from all of the 7 minutes of the song, playing everything, and it was really you know, sometimes it's the surprising stuff is when you get a different dimension, a different perspective of what the music is, the music that you love so much, and being able to look at the music from this different perspective. And I think
Yeah.
that's a good example of learning again how others see Chris's music.
Yeah, I agree. And then the other side of the spectrum, for example, your piece of one of my favorites on the Silent Wings of Freedom was just great. Are you using the same type of Eventide harmonizer that Chris used, or are you using a newer device?
To speak about the effect on Silent Wings of Freedom, there are two parts of effects. One of them is the Eventide
Mhm.
harmonizer, and I think I had a plugin that was emulating the same effect, which is
Oh,
not the it's but the really big part of the effect is not the harmonizer at all. Is the envelope filter pedal,
yeah,
which creates the bow wow kind of,
yeah.
and which is also used in "Don't Kill the Whale," uh,
Hmm.
which is not harmonized. If you go to the credits, so it's that, and that pedal I was offered one by a good friend of me, with from Peter Zakos, who was following me from a long time, and we exchange many messages and comments in the internet. And he was so kind that one day he said, "I found one Neutron pedal just like Chris's. Do you want to have it?" And I said, "Sure."
Oh, that's
Sure.
great.
So and Peter was great. He also helps me a lot with sometimes I need some production tips, because he's also a music producer. So
That's
yeah,
great.
that in that respect, I was really lucky, because I could get a pedal that really emulates the sound
Yeah,
of Chris.
it sounds great, and your playing's great. There's a few comments I want to give a shout out to. Here's Harry Whitley
Harry
says,
Whitley.
"Such a great idea." Um, some hearts from Madeline Navarro. Thank you for following and joining us. And I never heard of these guys. Just kidding. Total Master saying, Miguel, thanks for always bringing Chris and Yes Music to the forefront. You demand. And speaking of also Yes Music, Stephen brought to my attention that this open call also includes contributions to give a nod to Alan White and Mr. Banks as well. Can you talk about that?
Yes. Because the previous edition, in the previous editions, since Alan White passed away, so in that year we decided to, I decided to baptize the edition of Play for Chris, Alan White, because Alan was Chris's musical partner for so long, and they had this kind of magic playing together, and so of course that, being the original idea of playing for Chris, I think for sure Chris would very much approve that we also would play for Alan, and also for Peter, since those are the members that are no longer with us.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what gets submitted in Peter's honor. I think that's kind of a big mystery because you haven't had that yet, and there's a lot of room for creativity there.
Well, actually, we didn't have like guitar cover type of submissions for Peter, but we already had mentions for Peter
Oh,
in spoken words, contributions in poetry. Um, it was like a kind of all together Chris and Peter and Alan dedication at the beginning of last year's edition.
Mhm.
But yeah, we still don't have one with just specifically like a guitar contribution. Although we have several songs from the Peter Banks era that were also submitted with the thought of perhaps also joining uh, Peter's memory to Chris's.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And it's great that you also include a spoken word option because not everyone plays an instrument. I don't play an instrument, but I love this music. And so it allows lots of people to express like how much like this music and these people mean to them.
Yeah, well, the truth is that many people want to be part of it, and they don't have to be limited just because they don't play an instrument or they don't sing.
Right.
So there are people have something to say, and the, they have something to express to I think especially to other fellow fans. They want to share with the rest of the world how they feel about Chris's music, because I know that when I before internet, I was completely or almost alone in terms
Mm,
of expressing myself. All my friends, they wouldn't care except for one friend, which was the
Mm.
friend that showed me yes. Practically the rest of my acquaintances, they didn't know or they didn't like. Okay, so when I found internet, and then I found suddenly that there's a like a forum for those who like yes, it was my initial reaction was to say, look, I'm here in Portugal, and I also like yes. So I'm sure that all the now fortunately we are much more connected through internet, and so it's normal that all people want to reach out and share their love for something in common, and if and it doesn't have to be by playing or singing, but also by sharing words, for sharing um, memories from from when they met Chris or when they saw yes for the first time. Those kind of reunited uh, memories, they are are a way of celebrating Chris's memory, and of course now also expanded to Peter and Alan. So yeah, I think it's great to see people talking about it so passionately. When I see the comments on my YouTube videos, many comments are of recalling seeing yes at that certain year, and how great it was, and sometimes funny stories of meeting them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
And yeah, and you touched on it a bit, but how did you get into Yes and Chris and the guys, and tell us your Yes story, like getting into the music and then eventually going to your first Yes concert.
it was like in the mid late 80s. I really didn't know about yes, and my friends were um, I think they were divided in two camps. One was the most traditional commercial rock kind of camp, and the other
Mm.
one was that kind of more avant-garde alternative.
Weirdos.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was and me and one of my friends, Pedro, we were the only ones that were in both sides. We were not committed to rejecting anything. So we could like something more for the from the punky side, and also from the more traditional side. But this Pedro friend, He was the one that showed me several times Yes Records, and for a long time, I it didn't, it didn't make an effect on me. But then I think it was about like 88 or 89 that when he lent me a copy of Tormato, and I was really impressed by the sound of the bass on Tormato. So I think the click was really the sound, especially the first song. I think Future Times Rejoice. It it's something. It was, it had quite an impact because it has that intro, very, very, I don't know how to call it, but very powerful. And
Yeah.
the way that the statement of the initial bass note, it's nothing complicated, but it's very affirmative. And then, it's like a thread that is left there, and from that thread you can follow the rest of the bass work, because I already have my ears training to follow what the bass is doing.
Right.
And I think that was the entrance door. And the second step was that my friend, he lent me the 9012 Live video cassettes, which was the only one available at that period. So then I had the chance of looking at Chris and see how he was. I thought he's playing like a short scale bass, and uh, but then I realized that no, it was not the bass that was short scale. It was, he was big.
Big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually
Looks
I
like a banjo on him.
yeah, I went to buy a short scale bass because I thought it was, I went that it was that Moravian green bass. It looks so short, and then of course then I found out that it was a regular bass. But also that video was quite a big impact for me, to know the both sides of Yes, in terms of their 80s sound, and the most traditional the 70s sound. I knew Honor of Lonely Heart, when I was very small, but I didn't make that link to I like the song, but it was just one song, and so I didn't have the rest of the. So it was like that, and then only in '98, when I was already old enough to fly to, in this case, to the UK, to London, I went there, and it was Chris's 50th birthday. It was a very special concert, Open Your Eyes tour, and it was like the dream come true, as they say, to watch the band live, playing the Revealing Science of God, especially the Revealing Science of God. Also, I think
that was a huge surprise.
Yeah, America, I think it was also.
Yeah, great version of America.
It was great. So it took me less than 10 years to see them. At the time, I already had my Rickenbacker that I bought also, from a shop in UK. I was reading I don't know, maybe the bass player magazines or bassist magazines, and there was an ad, those ads with all the basses that they have available, and like a fax number that you, and then it was like, it was like forever, like sending a fax to ask if the bass was available, and then waiting for the answer. So this took days, and then you didn't pay by, there was no electronic ways to pay. You have to go to the bank and ask for a check and send a check. So it was an adventure.
Crazy. Yeah. Wow. Oh man, I'm going to sound like such an old guy saying this, but kids today have no idea. Yeah. And that doesn't feel like it was that long ago. That's what's so weird. Is yours a 4001 or 4002?
No, it's the 4001 signature model. So it's
Mhm.
it's the
Yeah.
one that has Chris's signature.
Cool.
And by the way, now I remember. Now that you mention it, I took the certificate of that comes with the bass. And when I got to meet Chris after that show in '98, I asked him to sign it. Of course, it
Oh,
had the
nice.
signature already, but it has to be like his
Yeah.
own signature.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And with so many submissions, like a lot of ground has been covered, but is there still any piece of Chris centric music that you are kind of surprised nobody has submitted yet, or does anything come to mind?
One of the things that I really like about this project is that people really want to uh, submit something new. When I say new in Play for Chris.
Yeah, like outside the box.
Some guys
Yeah.
they ask me, and what about this one? So something from Kiss to Ascension or something. They want to know, or of course they can find out, but maybe I remember better. So they really want to cover some different things. And I would say that the 90s period maybe is the one that doesn't have so much things, although we have already like something from Union, which
Oh,
is
Oh wow.
yeah. There's one friend called I think it's Etienne who sent me one of the songs that even is with Tony Levin on bass. So there's people that goes to a uh, specific uh, specific idea of getting a song which was Tony Levin, but playing it like Chris Squire style. So there's Etienne also. I remember that he also played something from Criminal Record, which is great.
yeah.
Chris worked with Alan White on Rick Wakeman's Criminal Record.
Yeah.
We have something. We have we have a lot. I'm sure that you will find something that hasn't been done yet. I received so far 4 submissions, and for some reason people are liking the idea of playing something from Talk, maybe because it's the 13th anniversary.
Right.
So
Yeah.
people are really they pay attention to these details. They want to either if it's to think about Chris, Alan, or Peter, or even if it's like an album that now is having its anniversary, they want to pay tribute to that album. you know I think that's a characteristic of for sure, that that Yes fans, they are very, very conscious of
Yeah. Those things seem
those
to
things, like
seep into the theme.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you still have a lot to choose from when you will submit yours.
Cool. I still got to come up with a solid idea. I have some ideas. Jorge Bronco says, let's put it up there. Ask if he's see Yes in Lisbon last week on the first European tour. Nice show. Did you see that by any chance?
Oh, I was invited to go by, not invited, but I was trying to go there, but I had work, so I couldn't see the show. But I've seen the report from a friend that was there and said it was a great show. So
Cool.
and
So
maybe Jorge is from Portugal, because he has a Portuguese name.
yeah, yeah. And the link, folks, is in the post. No matter where you're watching this, the link is in the post so that you can submit. The cutoff day is that May 29th?
May
Is that
31st.
Yeah, it's
May
the last
31st.
31st. So of course that if there are for any reason you need some deadline extension, I will be understandable. But
Great.
of course, it's better that if you have something to do, that then start doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
not
got to get on the stick.
difficult. It's not that difficult. What
I'm
the
actually
most
gonna.
important thing is that you play with your heart and play for Chris.
Yeah,
I'm
and
making a
that's
note on my. Go ahead, Steve.
oh, I was just gonna say the website is miguelbase.com, and there's a Play for Chris 10 section where people can submit.
And what's
Yeah.
what's the time length again, Miguel? This time?
Again,
Pieces?
it's not strictly like that, but if it can be around 1 minute, 1 minute and a half.
Okay.
So again, not to make the video very lengthy, but I think 1 minute and a half is what I consider enough for each contribution. But for some reason, if it makes sense to be a little longer, I will not cut. I will try to edit so that it flows well between several sections. So i I already had like 45 submissions in one edition, but the usual is to have like something like 20, 25. So
Okay.
if this is multiplied by 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, it will be like a good
Okay.
half hour,
Yeah,
or
half
a
hour.
good 40 minutes.
Cool.
I think
Couple
it's a
other.
good dose. I think it's a good dose.
Okay. Couple other questions for my own selfish edification, but also for those who want to submit. Couple questions. One, because of where this is going to be featured, they can play to original recordings if they want, right? The original
Yeah,
release
yeah.
recordings. Okay.
So
And can they also play to bootlegs if they wanted to?
yes,
If it's good audio?
yeah. There's no problem in concerning the being because all my past editions except numbers 6 and 7, which were 100% with the original material. I
Yeah.
mean, with the original performance, they didn't get a copyright strike. But
Okay.
it's almost impossible to avoid that. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I also don't. I'm not counting on monetization for a living.
Yeah.
You know how it goes on YouTube and
Right.
several other places. So use whatever you want, whatever you feel it's better to
Okay.
to make your performance. And then, if possible, when you send your contribution, also write a little text about Chris or about Peter or Alan, or something that you want to say in the context of what you are doing, in the context of Play for Chris. And then I will take that text and it will go around displayed as your contribution is playing. So it's like a compliment for what we are seeing, and to know a little bit more about what drove you to participate.
Cool. I'm going to do some math and tell you what I'm going to try to do. So let's see. Minute and a half is 90 seconds divided by. I'm going to see if I can cram 20 excerpts into 90 seconds. But I'm,
Oh my
and it's going to have
gosh.
a theme, but I'm not going to say what the theme is.
You can-
But I'm pretty sure no one's going to do this.
Yeah.
So I've got my project in my head. I've got a date and time written down on my calendar to record this. So let's see if I can
Okay,
pull it
don't
off.
worry. If you need an extra 10 seconds, it's no problem.
Okay, cool. Awesome. We encourage everybody to jump in on this and nod to Chris, nod to Alan, nod to Peter, and let's see what we come up with. And then do you have a release date for the final product?
No.
Okay.
The original plan would be to release to release it in the date that Chris passed away, which is the June 27th.
Yeah.
That could that all, sometimes didn't work for me because really because of work commitments.
Mhm.
That's why I'm trying to to get things ready by May the 31st, so I have some time to edit.
Yeah.
But however, I cannot promise. I have a video, a cover video for all Chris's birthdays for the March the 4th. But but that's something I can control better because it's me who does everything.
Yeah.
So, and I did a playlist just with the videos that I released on Chris's birthday. The first one, my first ever YouTube video was for Chris's birthday, also back in 2008. But with this project, I cannot really have control. That I will do everything, and sometimes people ask me for a bit more time because, oh, I just want to make my contribution. Please wait a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
I will announce when the date comes.
Cool.
And so
Cool.
stay
One
tuned.
one last question. We were kind of started to talk about this before we went live, and Steve, as smartly as he is, jumped in and said, "No, no, let's save it for the show." So my
Yeah.
question is, what
Well,
is?
did we already talk about it, or
Did we? No, I don't think so.
what's your question?
The favorite album cover.
Oh, that. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
haven't talked about on air. Yeah.
Right. So Miguel, what do you have a album cover that is your standout absolute favorite?
Yeah, well, like we were discussing before, if I had to, to take the album and the music and the cover, I would pick "Tales from Topographic Oceans" because that's really such a powerful combo of for of yes symbolism.
Yeah.
You have, of course, you have the beauty of the art, and that's, I think, surely one of the most impressive Roger Dean covers. And then you have, the constellations, the stars for each of the members, and one fish for each member swimming in the topographic ocean. There's a lot of symbolism of the four sides of the of of the record. And I tend to imagine also what each side means in terms of, I don't know, each element or each season of the year, or each
Hmm.
part of the day. There is, and that all is related with all the graphic imagery that we have, not only in the main cover, but in all of the graphical artwork.
Right.
So I would have to pick Tails as my favorite cover. Although I also tend to have a very, very weak spot for Fragile, because it was released right when I was born, in
Oh
November
wow.
'71. So it's and the also the concept of the album also related with having the pieces for the band and the solo pieces. That kind of concept also is really. But again, now I'm not talking about exactly of the cover. So yeah, I would still choose Tails.
That's cool. That's mine, in fact, for the same reason. The whole marriage of all the elements of that
Yeah.
package. Um, I recently, well, over the last year, I've spent time listening to just the remembering by itself over and over and over, kind of
Mhm.
revisiting that. And for me, it was interesting because I'm sure, like a lot of people, I've always listened to Ritual and the Revealing Science of God, and that's what they played most frequently over the years, et cetera, et cetera. But just listening to the Remembering on its own, I've almost found like a whole, not that I lacked appreciation for it, but I found a new appreciation for it, hearing it just as a nice standalone piece that has some nice pieces within it, actually. And I I find that there's many different ways to listen to this album. So that was kind of a new thing that over the course of a year, I probably listened to it over 20 times just by itself. And it's cool. I really dig it.
I can understand you. When I was just starting making my cover videos, I decided that I wanted to go and do the Remembering. It was the first song from Tales,
Mm.
and it wasn't necessarily the one that attracted me the most. And I remember that I decided that I wanted to do that, and I was at my grandparents' house at the time. They were still alive, and that's in the seaside. I took my fretless bass, or defretted bass that I defretted, and I spent like a whole month in the summer just listening to the song, and suddenly I was finding all the logic and all the the colors that I thought that I never had the patience
Oh,
to because uh, it takes time to really contemplate all the beauty of this song.
yeah. The
It's
nuances and all the little details. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really like the whole summer I was studying that song, because really I really didn't have yet the time and the focus to be just on that song. And if I recall correctly, the song came out in not the song, but my cover was released like only in October, so in after the summer. So I still was working on it, and I was here in this very same studio, where I'm in kind of an attic, and
Mhm.
I it was the only video, or not the only video, but the only full video where I didn't use that green screen, but I used like a real projector.
Mm.
So I was the lights, then the colors, and what I invented for the background, uh, they were projected here in this
Oh, wow.
white stuff that you see around.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that this room was very, very colored, and it was kind of even more inspiring to be playing that in the middle of, I was recording late at night, like until 5 in the morning, until it got until it wasn't night anymore, and because it was very hot still in October at that time. And it was really, really quite an experience. And if you go back to those videos of the Remembering, because I had to do two videos because YouTube wouldn't accept more than 10 minutes,
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
you will still
I remember those
see.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. So you will that window in the back. I had to put some paper to make like everything white. So
Mhm.
of course you notice some imperfections, but it was really, really a nice time. And that song, and the whole process of studying that song and making the video was really something that made me see that it's really a great song and a fantastic bass line.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. And folks, there it is. Play for Chris Tana to open call. Your videos are due May 31st. Easy date to remember, John Bonham's birthday. And all the instructions are at the link that's in the post wherever you're seeing this video. And If you see this video before the 9th at 9 a.m. on the 9th, we welcome Trevor Rabin to talk about talk, which was mentioned in this interview with Miguel. If you're seeing this after the 9th, then it's already published and it's up wherever you're seeing this. But Miguel, thank you not only for joining Stephen and I, but for carrying the torch of this project for so many years now. It's really cool stuff to see what people come up with.
We carry it together, Dan
Absolutely.
and Steve, and that makes sense because we are together doing the same. To this Play for Chris project is made by the fans, and I'm not sounding like a politician, but it's by the fans and for the fans. So it will make sense. And it makes sense because I feel that people understand it, and fortunately that Chris has the best fans in the world, and deserves everything.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time to join us. Hang on the line after we say goodbye. Stephen, people can actually write us or something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah, they can email us via yesshiftpodcast@gmail.com, feedback, suggestions, and what have you. And they can follow us at Yesshift on Facebook and YouTube and on various podcast apps. Just type Yesshift, you'll probably find us. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Yep. And stay tuned for
Thanks,
more
guys.
fun. We will see you all soon. Thanks, everybody.